in the mirror. She's right there.
Oh,
Yeah, you moved the bag perfectly so that we can still see it in the mirror.
Oh my gosh.
That's
my gosh.
amazing.
Okay, I need to work on my background setup because you guys have really nice setups. Jesse, yours is number one. Sharon, yours is a close second.
Oh, thank
Mine
you.
is dreadful.
I love that all we can see is a mirror. Through the mirror, we can see the bag that you just hid.
For listeners, first of all, Marie, right as we press record, said, I want to move this package so people don't see this package that's sitting behind me that's been here for a week and a half. And then she moved it, but the mirror in her background is still showing the package.
Like it reminds me of like something somebody would do in like an indie film to be funny, like some sort of like trick where they're moving it so the camera can still see the thing. I don't know. That's hilarious.
Like a little Easter egg, like look for this bag. It's a shopping bag.
And my background is a big calendar, like a giant full wall calendar.
Mine is all sorts of random stuff, but it's got the bokeh, so it looks really nice because I have the nice camera lens. So
Yours looks nice.
It's not the zoom blur that's all like kind of jittery. Yeah, it's the real thing.
You've got some greenery. You got books. A lot of people.
I got my bright orange book over here. I've got the plant that I was late to one of my live courses because I was buying the plant.
Is that a real plant?
No, it's definitely not a real plant.
Well,
it
no
would
one
be
can
dead
tell
if it were a real plant.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say. So earlier today, I had a conversation with somebody, and I won't go into details. Perfectly fine person. Like it was a great, like overall fine conversation. But there's somebody that's sort of like an
Quick
expert.
stop though. I aspire to be called a perfectly fine person. Go on.
What's the? I think it's from The Simpsons. Perfectly cromulent, I think is from The Simpsons. They call it. Yeah. Anyway, so I had a conversation, and I appreciate that the person took the time to talk to me, whatever. But I came away from the conversation just sort of like kind of frustrated because basically the way the conversation went, it was very focused on the negatives, on like why this thing couldn't work or why that couldn't work or what would be the difficulties. And it was just like negative. It really kind of struck me afterwards. I was like, man, this is like kind of ruined my day. And I could look back at it and so easily see we could have had the exact same conversation with the same takeaways without focusing on the negatives. Like, it's not about like, oh, I want like the rosy picture and everything just to be like, tell me it's all great and happy, when that's not the case. But it was the focus on negativity that was just such like a turnoff to me, where I feel like even though the person, like, again, was perfectly nice, perfectly cromulent, like they were nice, they gave me the time, but I was just like, I wouldn't want to work with this person because long term it would be so demotivating for me. Like if they're so focused on the negative, it really just sort of like affected my mood. And so, yeah, I'm curious. I think you said it before, Sharon, like it's kind of like conversational icks or like partnership or whatever
like
icks with people where you're
too.
like, working with this just is not going to work for me.
The heavy negativity grinds on me too. I get like a hangover from it. And not to say that I do negativity. Obviously, no one would ever call me a rosy, sunny person, I don't think. But I feel like I do it funny.
I say the same thing. Like when I like to complain about things, but in a like, this is kind of fun, kind of humorous, sort of like maybe self-deprecating even. And I feel like that is a very different thing than just like focusing on the why this can't work kind of a thing.
Yes. Observational comedy about your own life.
Right.
And also like relatability, like you would not believe what I just did. Or, just kind of,
Right.
I don't know, just poking fun at it. But the kind of Eeyore spin on life, just exhausting sometimes to talk to people who are constantly like that because you have to respond.
Yeah. And it's not that it's just like good vibes only. Like I think that can have some negative connotation to it as well. Like you don't want to ever talk about anything that's not good vibes or whatever. But it's just like the approach. I think that's what it is. And when someone's draining for me, this is probably related to ADHD as well. I feel like if someone's draining, I feel like it's 10 times more draining for me than it would be for somebody else that's having a conversation that's draining. I feel like it affects my mood and my energy so much that I'm just like, I don't want any of it. I don't want anything to do with it, because it's almost like it scares me that it's going to ruin my ability to like do other things, because my energy is just going to be sapped from this, like having conversations with someone that has that kind of negativity bias.
There's kind of a couple of things here, because like your example is talking about negative feedback about your app, right? Your product, which is also quite personal. And there's a little bit of, if we bring it back to an ADHD context, there's a little bit of RSD here, the rejection sensitive dysphoria happening, because it's something that you made. Fair, yeah. It's personal to you, and somebody's
I will say
giving
it's
you
not
negative feedback.
It's not actually about the app at all. It's
wasn't? I thought you were getting customer feedback.
No, it's feedback about a different thing that I want to leave vague.
Okay, so I missed the conversation.
But similar, you're right.
Late.
You're right on that. It's that RSD is part of it. Like part of me was in the conversation, I was feeling defensive, even though I was talking to the person,
like defensive
wanting
of
feedback.
the world, or like sanity.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So just kind of a negative vibe in general as well.
I think that also common with ADHD, I've always described myself, well, especially before I was diagnosed, I would always say I'm a fast talker, but I'm also a fast listener. And it's common with ADHDers. It's one of the reasons why we interrupt so much, is that we fill in the rest of someone's sentence before they get there. And I will say, I feel like I'm right 99.99% of the time. I'm very rarely surprised by the end of someone's sentence. But because of that, I think when someone's kind of just moaning on and on and on, I know where it's going already. I get it. So I'm kind of like, okay, I got it. Can we make the joke and move on? Or we're still in it? Okay.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. It's sort of, you already got there. And sometimes when I'm chatting with friends who have ADHD, the conversation is just like, it just goes so quickly, because you're both cutting in and jumping ahead, but you're both fine with it, because you're like, yeah, cool, you got me. And then we go on to move on to the next bit. But if it's someone who's neurotypical or just going on a bit, it's so frustrating. I'm literally in my own head thinking, or getting distracted, or thinking like, yeah.
How can I
keep going?
How can I
Right.
And then I feel guilty about it. I'm like, should let them get it out.
I do think that this isn't true I don't think any of my friends listen to this podcast, but but I think this doesn't count for me if someone's venting, and I'm like, I do really love being there for my friends. So I don't need people to just only talk to me about positive things. But I think we're talking about kind of just this like nothing can go right kind of cloudy type of thing, versus someone who's actually going through something, which to me is totally different. And that's actually harder to predict the end of their sentences, because you don't know.
Or if you're in like a corporate meeting and the meeting is pointless, and there's a big group and everybody needs to have their say, but they're all kind of saying the same things, or they're saying something which doesn't contribute to the overall conversation, but they just had to talk. And that kind of thing drives me up the wall. Like,
oh my gosh. And everybody,
it's the worst.
They need their voice to have been heard.
Oh my God, the egos,
Oh my gosh.
It's like in the middle of a Q&A, and then someone raises their hand and says, this is actually more of a statement. And you're like, then I don't want to hear anything else. Like,
shut up.
Skip to the next person. I'm here for a Q&A with the person on stage where I actually care what their answers are, not random person in the crowd that wants to share their own thing. Yeah, that's
or this beginning of this sentence. Similar, just like Marie said. Well, if Marie already said it.
Why? What are we doing here?
Just to echo Sharon's comments.
Well, I'm going to add one extra word and waste everyone's 20 seconds.
Well, anyway, so talking about kind of this stuff, specifically the energy and the energy draining, we were talking about that in a previous episode, Marie, and you had talked about segmenting days, so that like maybe you would have a day that's more focused on like customer response and batching, things like that, versus a day where you work on coding. And we're going to hold you accountable, or at least check in and see how's that going. You're crushing it now with that, right?
We actually have to do the stuff that we say we're going to do on this podcast.
Oh God, you're calling me out on it. Not that well. So it crossed my mind. Like at the start of the day, I'm like, okay, I should just do a coding day. But I kind of just want to check the customer service stuff just in case there's something.
It feels easier to react to something too.
Yeah, and I think I got into a habit as well, which is a good thing to just check, like, if anyone needs my help. I used to dread doing the customer service. Now I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll just quickly do it, get it out of the way. The problem is after I finish it, I feel like, oh yeah, okay, good, it's done. And then I kind of feel like, yeah, I'm done. And then I have a break and it's very hard to come back from the break. Whereas I should just go straight into coding. I shouldn't even check. So the thing is, like, I feel like if I don't respond in 24 hours, like it's bad. But in reality, a larger business would take days. I really should just wait. Like, people will be okay if it takes an extra day, I think.
You can look at it from both angles. I think for you, what you should be optimizing for is whatever works best for you. Because like, I wouldn't think about it as what is a big business going to do, because there is a little bit of that, like, you know, the idea, like, do things that don't scale. Like, if you can respond quickly and it doesn't drain you and hurt you in other ways, well, then that's great. That's kind of an advantage of like leaning into like, hey, it's me, Marie. Like, I'm right here. I'm working on the app and I saw your thing and I can respond right away. Like, if that doesn't drain you, that feels great. I think there's most people, and myself included, like when we have a small company, we kind of want to make it feel bigger than it is, which actually, like, it's kind of a competitive advantage to be like, hey, it's just me. Like, I'm here helping you out.
Yeah. I totally lean into that it's just me. Like, all the emails are signed off, just me. And sometimes I'll just say, you know, a one-person company.
Do you literally say just me?
Yeah, sometimes.
It's me alone in a room.
Just me, Marie.
Oh, sign off, just me, comma, Marie.
Yeah,
that's kind of cute, maybe.
I like that.
All by myself, comma.
Now I'm thinking about that song.
Lonely, lonely, lonely.
Well, going back to your point, it does drain me, and I think that's the issue. Like, it does drain me, and yeah, I got to be more aware of my fuel tank, because waking up and getting up early and sitting there in the dark, opening my code editor, I feel peaceful, and I'm like, yeah, let's go, let's create something, and that feels good, and that's not draining, that's more giving me energy. But if I open it up and there's like customer service, and you know, most of the time it's like someone's got a problem, right? Like, that's why they're messaging. Sometimes people just message to say hi, and that's really nice too. Or thank you. A lot of people say thank you for building this, but a lot of the time it's like, oh, I have an issue with billing, or why doesn't this work, or can I request something? That's a little bit more draining, because that's asking something of me, which I know is part of running a business, but it is still draining nonetheless.
It really is. I know you had this set up when you had me. That was Marie's colleague, operations person, who was amazing. But I have found, I think throughout my life, but I never fully felt it big until I was a founder of my own company, is the reactive stuff is so much easier, especially with ADHD. So like, I had jobs my whole life that had reactivity built into like the structure of the day. So I worked at like in PR at agencies. So I had emails from clients, and that was the top priority. So the thing that was flying in was always the top priority. Even when I was an executive at a big company, email from the CEO, top priority. So the loudest thing was the priority, but it has flipped. Now that I'm trying to build something small, it really has to be sitting with the silence and creating is the priority. And so Lydia and I, my co-founder, at one point had a little come to Jesus about, like, we were both getting wrapped up in that, the reactivity. And so we decided, like, she kind of just fell on the reactivity sword. So she does all the reactive stuff except for social, which does distract me still, social media stuff. But when I go into the day, I'm not looking at that first, because I know it's not something I own, luckily. And so I think that frees me up to kind of be like, okay, what are the things that I need to build? What are the things I need to create from nothing? I don't say that to brag or to Marie, but just to frame it, it sucks you into a different part of your brain that is not founder brain.
You can't control what comes in as well. So somebody else's mood or somebody else's problem, it's kind of like what you were saying at the beginning, Jesse, can really affect and ruin your whole day. And once you read it, you can't unread it, right? Like, it's come through, it's affecting you. But if you start, just creating, that's in your control. You start with, it's just you and whatever you're creating. Of course, if you got to work with someone else, that's different, but I'm not working with anyone else. So it's really 100% in my control what I want to create and my mood around that. I 100% agree with everything you said, Sharon. I think there's this thing where a lot of the times, like, you know what you need to do, but you just can't do it.
Oh, gosh.
It's 100% like,
yes.
And I used to say this to the team as well, like, that we try and protect certain blocks of time. Like that is a creative space, but it's hard when you're by yourself to have that self-control and emotional regulation around like doing it.
Yeah. And it's physically easier to just like literally open your emails and let that hit you. You know what I mean? It's inertia is lower.
Yeah, you get a slight dopamine hit because you're like, yeah, I did that. I ticked off a couple of things and I finished like the customer support and I did that.
I wonder if you could set up an automation.
Sharon loves her automations.
This one would be easy because you could do an AI filter. Not filter the wrong word, but like tag positive customer service emails and then only go to that folder or like that tag or that filter search on your Google Mail. And so that if it was like a positive, like, oh my gosh, Marie, Llama life changed my life, which would totally be a great way to start the day, then that would get like texted to you or like come into your Slack or something. So you just like, if it's there, you get it. And then if not, you get to it at the assigned time.
I kind of love that because it makes me think of like, I feel like I want to, because I have a new product idea every week. I've been for a while wanting to build an email app. And I kind of love that idea of like actually filtering by energy, like what sort of energy is it going to give me? Because so often, like when I check my email or when I check my real mail, it's like I have a present and I don't know what's inside and it's kind of exciting. But 80% of the time when I open it, it's like something, a hand comes out and just slaps me in the face. And rather than it being something I was excited to get, that's kind of what it feels like. I'm opening, I can picture like a comic of like opening the mailbox and a hand just reaching out and smacking me. I'm like, bills again or something like
hand.
that.
Are you gonna get a slap or a hug?
Right.
You don't know.
And most of the time it's a slap. But oh man, that hug feels so good. I'm gonna try it again. So I kind of love that idea of coming up with some way of basically kind of like hiding in a way, or at least like delaying that sort of like, hey, if it's negative, maybe you literally delay it, like have it like snooze immediately what is it called when AI like analyzes text and it like determines the positive or negative energy to it?
A sentiment analysis?
Yeah, sentiment analysis. That's what I was thinking. Like using something like that as a sorting rule is a really interesting idea. I don't think I've heard that before, and I kind of love that.
I used to work in media analysis where this is before AI, and it was all done manually with people, but there would be a team of people that would take a news article about a brand and read it and literally code the sentiment of the article. And not just the overall sentiment, but sentiment on specific topics that the brand was interested. Like, did somebody mention, I don't know, say we're talking about like a review of a phone. Did somebody mention like the battery? And if they mentioned the battery, was it like a good or a bad sentiment around that? And these people would code it up going, 100 people mentioned the battery and 70% was positive. By hand, they would read it.
Perfect flashbacks.
They had a coding sheet that said, this is what the brand is interested in. Here are the topics. And, battery might be like 1, some CPU might be 2. And then it's like, they have to go 1, positive, 2, negative, that kind of thing. And then my job was to take that information after it had been coded and write up a report, an analysis about the articles that were written about that brand, that month, like which publications did it feature in, what was said, what was the sentiment. This is way before AI. And now AI would just like, all those people wouldn't.
That was the job of interns and peons. And that was me at one point. And I just had a little shell shock reaction. That was the worst. It was the worst job. Like, just grunt job. I mean, it's good because you learn and you're reading, like it's a great entry level job to get someone into that field. But man, thank goodness for
two
AI.
things real quick. First, I thought you said meteor analysis, I think because of your accent, and I was trying to figure out what in the like a space, like a meteor coming, like a comet.
Meteor.
Yeah.
Meteor.
And I was so confused. I was like trying to put it together. Well, just media. And I think your slight accent, meteor.
Meteor? Meteor?
It sounded to his American ears as like a meteor. It sounded
like a meteor, like you're talking about some sort of like NASA thing, or I don't know. I was really confused trying to, but I figured it out.
You thought I could work for something like NASA. How cool would that be?
How did you get to where you are from?
You went from NASA to building.
The second thing I was going to say, that's what like like Amazon's doing that now with their reviews, you know, obviously using AI, which is super helpful. Like, so like when you look at my book, at the top of the reviews, it'll say like reviewers said this book is good for this and good for this, but it's slow at this or whatever. And it's like kind of that summarization, which now, I mean, the good thing is no one has to do those jobs. The bad things is there's less jobs now.
I don't know, but things evolve. Well, we can get to that whole, maybe
we don't have to go whole dive into that whole thing. But yes.
I just think you can grow faster in like that way. I mean, I was ready to move beyond the media analysis pretty quickly.
Media.
You know what we should do is just come up with new business ideas on this call every time, on this podcast every time. And
just like pitch a new idea for, hey, if you want some good ideas, we got them here.
Get totally distracted from our own companies.
Going back to the email app, like I've seen email products that will help you. You know, you write the email back, but then it'll analyze your tone and it'll, you know, you can say like make it friendlier or make it, you know, more sassy or whatever, tone it down if you're like angry. I've seen that, but your idea is kind of the flip of that going, I receive an email.
Yeah, it's more about the inbox.
Yeah, the inbox. I receive it. Tell me what the tone is versus I'm drafting it. Help me correct my tone.
My dream here is like have it come to me instead of me going to it so that I don't get swallowed up in the inbox, right? So like, good news, it's like I'm like a cranky boss and you can only give me good news in the morning kind of thing. So like scrape my email for good news and then like text it to me.
Nice. I love that.
I am actually kind of building it right now. I'll stop, but I started multitasking and
You're building it right now while we're on the call?
What are you building? What's your update, Sharon?
I'm halfway through. I already had Zapier open, which is it basically is like the internet's API. So it like plugs into every single, like most services that have a public API. I have it snagging any emails that come to, for me, like my customer service email address. We'll change it out for yours. And then using AI by Zapier. So they use OpenAI's API to have their own little AI analysis tool. And then a filter to filter for the finding of the AI. Is it positive? Is it negative? What's the tone? And then sending a Slack channel message or a direct message. So you could get in Slack, you'd get like positive emails that would give you some dopamine, and they'd still be in your inbox.
Wait, I tuned out for 1 sec. So so you built whatever we just talked about? You're building that?
Yeah, I'm almost done. I built the steps, but I have to hook everything up still.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, wow, okay.
Ridiculous.
I don't know why more people don't do this. It's so fast.
The challenge is going to be like, okay, give me the negative stuff. I'm never going to want to hit that button.
You have to, because those are the ones you have to do the billing requests for and stuff. But it's like, because I know, because I'm friends with you, that when you get the customer service, like those nice ones, they just fill your cup so much. Like you'll often, you'll tell us about it, me and Jesse, and we love it. And
this person said I changed
want you
life.
To get more of that. I want you to get flowers in the morning.
Worth it. It makes it feel like you have a purpose and it's worth it. And you have... You know, having purpose is so important, I think, with ADHD. Like my old manager used to say, I'm like your dog going after a bone. Like if she tells me exactly what she needs and her goal, I can just go after it. But if it's not clear what I'm going after and I don't have a purpose, I'm just like floating around. Like I need this is what I'm trying to do, like that higher goal. And when someone writes in,
that's kind of like the irony of so many people with ADHD, like us, being drawn to companies where then we have to figure out what those things are because there's a million things that it could be. And so we're drawn to like building our own things and doing this, but then we have to figure out like, oh, no one's going to tell me what to do. I have to figure out what those priorities are and give myself that clear direction, which is tough. I'm definitely kind of struggling with that right now. Well, I think for me right now, it's so unclear because I'm building and figuring out like what are the things I can do that are going to generate revenue that'll be able to support me. And right now, it's a lot of it is unknown. A lot of it is kind of like speculative. Like hopefully the app will eventually get to being that point. And then I'm doing like a course launch and a membership, and I don't know which things are going to hit more than others. And I'm like going to start doing YouTube, and it's just like all these things where I could probably list 50 things that I could spend the entire like every week, fill up the week doing work for that thing. And just not knowing which, there's just a lot of like juggling question marks right now of figuring out where is the best place to put my energy And even when you have a business that some things are working, you got to figure out like, how can I propel this and grow this or plan for future things? And it's so much of it is on our plate. And it's great because we get to customize things and like work with our own schedule or whatever it might be. But we have to figure out the hard stuff too, which is not as fun.
It's interesting. We kind of keep going back to energy, but there's like what you're able to make and then what you can grab onto. I can definitely, if someone like loves something like specific feature or something that has recently been built, it is rocket fuel. Like I will literally go zoom into my laptop and just build and think and create and unstoppable. And it's so it's like, I'm just going to do it every day. And I do think like, Jesse, as you mentioned, we kind of talked about our like anti-hero for a favorite coworker, co-founder kind of thing. But for me at this stage of company, but kind of always, no, definitely always, just people who have no ego are totally happy for their idea to suck. Just whatever the best thing to do is the thing to do and not no stake in their argument, because that is another big energy drainer for me is like debating for ego versus for like purpose. I feel really lucky that that's the cast of characters I currently work with. Zero ego among us. I just don't think feelings really get hurt among us because we're not coming in with this like loaded ideas that we like are going to fight for.
When you're hiring, you want like highly driven people with low ego. And then you put those highly driven people with low ego into like a safe environment where everyone's heard. And that's up to you as like a leader to create the environment. And then all the ideas come out, but no one's like shut down or hurt. And you were saying, Sharon, you don't waste the energy trying to manage, am I going to like, how do I tell this person no without like hurting their ego and stuff?
Yeah.
Because that takes energy too. It's like, how do I position this so like they will still give ideas freely, but they're happy to let this one go because doesn't fit.
Yeah, like on that, I really struggled kind of early in my career because I was bad at managing the sort of like different egos and things like that. And I just see problems. I'm like, I would see a problem and say like, hey, we need to fix this. Let's improve this. And like, I point things out. And people didn't like that because they felt like attacked. And I was like, I don't care what solution we have. I'm just really focused on making a better thing. Like whatever it is that we're building or creating, I want it to be better. And I'm seeing things that we can improve on. And it drives me wild, just like when you get stuck in different companies I've worked at in the past and stuff, where you get stuck and you're not able to make progress because people are too tied to their own solution or their own ego and things like that. And I just want to make the product better. Like the experience can be better. Let's just do that and not worry about whose idea or what idea, just like what things can improve. And let's kind of focus on those.
Wouldn't we all like that, where someone comes with an idea or something they could fix, but hey, here's one better. Maybe they, instead of coming ready to pitch it and putting energy into like how they could win an argument, maybe they actually like build it.
Right.
And without even, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I was messing with this. What do you guys think? I literally built it. Because a lot of things can just be dabbled with and, quote unquote prototyped in less time it would take than a call to discuss that idea. So I mean, I feel like that's the other thing I think I always want more of, and I could do more of too, which is just fiddle faddle and build it, because talking about ideas is never as good as showing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of I think like the fun of in startup world, because like with WavePal, I'm getting a lot of that. Like I said, I mentioned before, where I just sort of randomly on a weekend decided to build the mobile app version of it, and it came together really well. And now once that was working, and then my co-founder, he saw it and he's like, oh, well, let me work on the API so that we can connect it. So now it's like, it's working as an app. It's read only right now, but so any changes I make, I'll update in the app. So it's like almost there to where you could use just the app, which feels awesome. But that only happened because I prototyped and was able to build like, oh, hey, this could actually work. Look how close we are already. And then we can see, well, what steps do we need to take to make it functional? And it was not very much work left once we had that working prototype and we could see it kind of in person.
You got the flywheel going. And I mean, he responded, your action elicited a response of action.
Right,
I think that's
exactly.
Which is why I've always been a crappy manager in my view. I don't know why people always made me a manager, but the only way I know how to lead probably in a way that makes my skin not crawl is just action, like me doing stuff and hoping that the people I have meet me there. Then they match my energy, because it's very hard for me to just sit around and like tell somebody to work harder or to have better ideas. I just want them to come along.
That's part of being persuasive, right? Like, to get the team to come along and persuade is to take action yourself and start things. One other thing that I used to do when I had the team is, like, beforehand, I would define like what the product's trying to solve. And we had a little acronym. It was MAD, M-A-D. So the product is trying to give people motivation, accountability, and dopamine, those three things. And the overarching goal is to help people work through a list, not just make a list, but actually work through it, like get it done. So that was kind of the overall kind of framework. And if anyone had a new idea, we'd always look at it against that. Does it help people get through a list? Does it help with the MAD, motivation, accountability, dopamine? If it doesn't fit into any of those things, we're kind of like, oh, okay, maybe let's just put it somewhere else because it doesn't quite fit our product. Like, it might be a good idea, but it's not a good idea for our product. And there might be another product out there that can do it. That we also need to stay focused on what our specific product's trying to do and keep our product like kind of laser focused and simple on those things. So we used to do that all the time, especially when we got into like, oh, but it's a really good idea. Yeah, I think people are asking for it as well, maybe. Just because someone asks for it doesn't mean you have to do it. If a lot of people are asking for it, that's a different story. But if you get one or two and you're like, oh, that's really good, but it doesn't fit what we're trying to do, that's it. Like, it's not happening.
We've been like talking some about that for things with WavePow, where there's a bit of the, like, even though we only have like a couple people that are like, that have paid to use it, but we're feeling the pull to do some features that would be better for different personas of people. Cause like, on one hand, the basic thing is like an app to track your friends and family and stay in contact with them and stuff like that. I was just at a conference last week, which was amazing. But one of the things I'm feeling there is like, oh, I want some more power features of managing my professional network sort of thing. That's kind of a different product, but with a lot of overlapping pieces. And so that's a little bit we've talked about, like, where is that line where we say kind of like, this is the track that is WavePow and focused on that. And because right now it's a little bit gray. We haven't really defined, like, we don't have a nice MAD acronym or something like that. So there is a little bit of that where we're thinking now of how we want to make sure we don't go too wide, but we also don't want to close it down for, use cases like that, especially because people that are managing a professional network are more likely to pay for a product like this. And so there is that sort of thing to think about too with a business.
You could put like a little button on the website that says like, this professional version, click here for more info, and just see how many people click it, something like that, just to register interest or in some way.
Or even on the want list, sign up just to kind of get a pulse.
Yeah, because I could do a post survey on that. So after they've already submit, then give them like a little survey where they could do something.
Like,
that'd be kind of
what
interesting.
parts of your life do you feel like the key question? This is something that has always stuck with me from big business, but I find it to be really helpful. Do you know the one question you could ask a dog owner to determine whether they would be a high value customer or not for a pet food company?
Oh man, that is I love this, the puzzle of it. So there's one good question.
One question.
It would be something around like, are they treating I'd want to figure out if they're treating their dog on the same level that they'd treat their kids, because that would show like, I don't know. I think I'm in dangerous territory here, but like,
it's a specific question that's an easy yes or no.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Do you baby your dog, or do you?
Betsy, do you have a guess? I will tell you.
Okay. The first thing, I don't know if this is it. I feel like it's not, but the first thing that came to mind was like treating for fleas, like a flea collar or something like that.
No.
Okay.
What about, do you feed your dog human grade food, or do you?
Well, this is a dog food company.
Oh, it's a dog food company. Okay, yeah.
So, are you ready?
Okay, go.
Wait, do you want to keep guessing?
I do, but I know we've got a cutoff time, so we should just let you give us the answer.
The question is,
I would guess for like an hour until I got it, but we are on the clock.
Do you make food for your dog, or do you do you cook for your dog? Do you cook for your dog?
Okay. Also wrong, but I love the energy. Ready?
Yes.
Did you celebrate your dog's last birthday?
Oh, that's a great one.
Okay.
That was along the lines with what Marie said, with
totally
treating them more human, sort of a thing.
Yeah. But it puts it into one
that's
simple
so good
question, right?
I love that.
Easy
the
yes
effort
or no.
around the birthday, thinking about it, organizing it, taking pictures of
that's so true, because my daughter, she celebrates the birthday of her bearded dragon because that's how much she cares about this pet. Like, she's not a high value, she doesn't have any money, but if she did, she would be putting that money into things for like her bearded dragon, because she's really
she has buying power. She nags you guys to get stuff, and
100%.
I mean,
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it is
and she does nag us to get stuff like that.
Right. And anyway, so I feel like that's such a good, strong example in my mind of understanding what drives your customer. And it doesn't have to be a specific question about your product. Because I mean, they're selling pet food. They're not actually selling pet food is not used for birthday celebrations, because people go to specialty shops and get a dog cupcake, or if they celebrate it. The key thing is their last birthday. Because like we used to celebrate our dog in the early years, we celebrated his birthday. And then later, his birthday was just really close to my son's, and we were just like,
right.
We'd be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, happy birthday, Mondo." Yes, like it would just be a little bit less. So yeah. I think that it helps put a point on like if they're going to be the premium customer.
Yeah, if I celebrate my dog's birthday, I'm gonna be willing to pay more for the dog food, for what I think is better dog food.
So I strive to have that question for a product that would allow me to find my customer as well as that would. And I think the only one I have right now, but I don't feel like I've found it yet, is like asking what falls off your list. Like what's the most likely thing to fall off your list in a day? And if people say the me stuff, so that's a customer I think I can help. I would love to get more specific than that, because I feel like that's still in the zone of like, it is my product I'm kind of asking about. I would love like a life question that would get me to the same.
What about something like, do you always feel like you're behind in your day, or like your life, or something like emotional? I'm trying to think, like, because I have this thing, right? I feel like, oh my God, I didn't get all the stuff that I wanted to get done, and I feel behind. Like I'm always feel like I'm catching up. I always feel like I have something that I haven't done. You know, it's kind of just hanging around. It's hanging around me, and I don't want to do it. And even if I don't know what it is, it's just like a feeling that, this stuff I'm not doing.
Totally. And I think that's something you can get qualitatively. And it is the feeling. Yeah. I think all of our services kind of help with that lingering feeling of like, what is dropping right now? Like something is, I don't know what is. But there is, I just am so jealous of the pet's birthday question.
It's so good. It's so good. I'm going to be thinking about that all week. Like, what is that question that can help me out?
Jesse, you might be able to come out. I don't know.
I feel like there might be something there, because it immediately makes me think of, what? Marie's got something. What do you got?
Well, Jesse, wave power. Do you feel like you're a bad friend?
Or has anyone ever told you you're a bad friend?
That's good.
Like, I think the key is it has to be yes
different.
Or no.
Because one is like, if someone's actually telling you, that's pretty serious. Like it's got to a tipping point where they're like, I'm going to say something. That's great. That's a great one.
That's pretty visceral. Yeah.
And actually, maybe mine is, maybe this is actually just the same as my company origin story. Have you ever put workout clothes on in the morning and never actually worked out? Like by the end of no, too many people, because yoga pants, everyone wears that. But like mine was like with the intention. Like I would get fully dressed, the shoes, everything, the water bottle in the hand, and then it just didn't happen still. I feel like there's something there, but it has to be yes or no, or else it's a discussion. It's not just like a filter.
That's why what you gave me, the like, have you ever been told you're a bad friend? That's really solid, because it's such a yes, no.
I think that it's also probably a challenge of crystallizing my product better too. You know, like I think that it's just, it's hard.
I have one, but it's kind of like just a general ADHD one. Like, do you have one small thing that you've been putting off for like weeks, and then when you actually do it, it takes like 2 minutes?
Right. But it's crystallizing it, right? Or like, I think you're close, Marie. I feel like it needs to be yes or no, but it's something like that.
Oh, a task. Because it's a task management app, right? Like it's like, do you have one small task that you've been putting off for weeks that when you actually do it takes 2 minutes? That's like a procrastination type. That's an ADHD question, but I guess centered around tasks.
But ADHD has so many parts and so many people are undiagnosed. And, I think
there's something there, though. I think maybe when we come back in 2 weeks, you'll both have figured out your question. I think we need to wrap up because Sharon, I'm looking at the clock and I think it's time for you to run.
Oh, yeah. We're going to time manage you. You need to go to your appointment.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. My son thanks you for me not abandoning him at camp.
Yeah. So why don't quickly, where can people go to find out the stuff you're doing?
Sharon is my name and Shelpful is my game. Shelpful, SHELPFUL.com, or find me on Instagram. Guys, I'm 5 followers away from hitting 80,000 followers. I'm happy.
Woo! Oh, wow. That's huge.
Nice.
And we're on TikTok too. And Jesse, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me online. The app I'm building, WavePal, is at wavepal.app. I'm also on all the socials as ADHD Jesse, and my ADHD newsletter is at extrafocus.com. And Marie, how about you?
My app is called Llama Life. You can find it in the App Store and Google Play, LLAMA Life, or just llamalife.co on the web.
And you can find all of us at ADHD Founders. It's ADHD_founders on the socials. And we post pretty regularly now. So Instagram, TikTok, if this was boring to listen to at length, you can listen to it in clips at one of those fine locations.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.